Greetings, everyone. I was at a local thrift store and I saw a bunch of these bags of My Little Ponies. I don't know enough about My Little Pony to be an expert on any of that kind of stuff with them. But I thought for a couple of bucks, this could be kind of an interesting thing to just play around with. I don't know if I need to try to preserve this bag or not. Let's just get into the bag and just see what goes on. Let's see if we can keep the camera from... So, these are strange creatures to me. Now, growing up, one of my aunts actually had ponies. And let me see if I can change this so it sits a little flatter. And I think they're fascinating little creatures. So look at this one. And this seemed to be kind of a variety pack. Now, some of them I think are maybe generic, like not real My Little Ponies. And others are like the modern version of them. Oh, that says Burger King. Okay, so that's a Burger King toy. And this one. And I don't know what that is. Maybe it's supposed to make sound or something, or... I'll figure that one out after. And it's a Burger King toy too. Okay. Anyway, so that's a little 5-pack of them, with one that looks sort of like the old ones and one that looks a little bit, I don't know what that's supposed to be, and then kind of the modern version of them. So my idea anyway is just to use these maybe as a reference to some doodles. What does that do? Oh, I see it. Okay, and is this supposed to do anything or just pose? Pose. Okay, and then we'll just set these aside. Yeah, I don't know what that's supposed to be. I almost think that it's supposed to make noise somehow, or... Anyway, we'll set that one aside too. And that, which is extraordinary. All right, so what I do remember about the original My Little Pony is that they really do look like ponies, like the little Shetland ponies or whatnot. So unusually kind of like large heads for their bodies. I mean, well, babies are like that anyway. I think what I'm going to do is just kind of play around with some concepts, and then maybe in another video, or depending on how I feel and how much time I put into this, maybe we'll kind of do a better picture. Something that I often do when just goofing off in my sketchbook, I like to take care of the eyes first for some reason. I can do a general body shape. I can do that with another one anyway, but I like to try to capture some part of the eyes. First. And I don't know which version I want to, I don't know, we'll see. And I'll do my own take on it. This one has like a little star. Let's say we put a little star in here too. Now I'm going to zoom in on that. See where I am. We'll look at the pupil here next. So yes, so growing up, I have seen actual ponies, and they are remarkable creatures. They kind of play and frolic and all that kind of stuff. So if you've seen them, then you get it. This was not a toy that I had, though. I was not into the toys. And as I grew older, I did not become a super fan of them as a bro who loves the ponies or what have you. Now, they do have kind of a brow. Especially the older ones. This toy here, this Burger King toy, yeah, it's kind of exaggerated, like in that anime style. I'm just sort of playing around with the iris a little bit here. So that's one eye that I did. And much like dragons, to get a good full sort of view of both eyes, to look straight on with that creature, I think they see better from the side, almost like birds. I could be wrong. But that's how I feel when I look at a horse's face. They have like a long face generally, and as I said, this is just kind of a sketchbook moment. As I said, I think they have a brow on the eye socket. Big, beautiful eyes. So I don't know how many of you sketch along, and if you do in pen, if you feel up to it, it is kind of fun. Uh, as I look at this, I hope not to be turning this into, I should have left that eye open a little bit more. Yeah, I don't want to have it just turn into like a little piggy face. Although, would that be the worst? I don't know. I have another little star here. Ooh, I didn't like the way that one went. That's okay. Sketchbook. That's my excuse, yes. I'm gonna brow up above here. They have a wonderful cheekbone. Now, horses have interesting mouths. And a very slender lower jaw. And they are grass eaters. Kind of, herbivore. I don't believe that they would be into meat eating unless it was by accident, and that would be a terrible thing. But they don't have multiple stomachs. I'm sure they are chambered in some way, though. You imagine a creature that gallops, that also, well, they can carry weight. Imagine a creature like that just living off of grass and hay and oats and stuff like that. It's kind of remarkable. Now, in order to make this not look like a donkey, I think you have to have shorter ears. So let's move to that. Yeah. So that sort of face right there is what I was talking about earlier on, where they seem almost like birds in a way. Anyway, I'm not saying they are birds. I'm just saying for vision-wise, for them to look straight ahead, I think they would turn their heads sideways to get a good look at you, kind of like, that scene in Jurassic Park. Again, I don't know for sure. I'm just going to leave part of that open just a little bit. Now, right now it kind of looks a little bit like a cow to me, just based on the size of the head and whatnot. Just going to add a little bit of depth to the eye, since the other one I haven't recovered nicely enough from. We're going to give it outrageous eyelashes. Yeah, I think that went a little askew. This much I do know is true, though. The ponies do have long eyelashes, from what I remember seeing them when I was a kid. Maybe that's to help with dust and bugs and all that kind of stuff when they're running happy and free through the pastures. Now, is it necessary to make them a unicorn? Don't know. I don't think in, stories of old, when they were trying to figure out what unicorns were, whether or not they were like what we call a narwhal or what have you now, I don't know if they would have really always thought that they should look like a horse. I wonder about that. Let's try dipping that pen. Can you imagine the kind of effort it takes to raise a creature and keep care of it like this? The hair brushing and a lot of work. Now I'm just kind of throwing in a lot of that hair, the scrolliness of it. I wonder if that's still a thing, that some people would really like to own a pony still. Now let's see. Just going to back it out just a little bit. I have to assume that there's some magic involved in the folklore of the ponies, because my goodness, who combs their hair? Who combs their hair? interesting. So what I'm going to do now is maybe take a moment or so to just sort of throw some color at it. If I can find something that seems like fun. Maybe that's too light of a pink, but let's find out. Okay. I mean, is there anything better than having a cool, awesome pink pony? Maybe, maybe not. It wasn't my dream. And being that, you know, pink ponies don't really exist, well then what are you supposed to do with that? Or let's say they do. How about that? Pink ponies do exist. And again, this is just idea stuff at the moment. So we don't really have to take it too seriously. Look at that, I can kind of drown out that eye just a little bit. Now let's see, what else can I do with that? Start with a very light brown in the eyes. Now let's see, one last little pass over with this. Just to do like an outline of what's going on here, throw in some low-key kind of shade and whatever we feel like doing. Kind of rock star hair. Make sure some of the points of the hair make it through. Exaggerate some of them just for fun. Put some nice big curls on them. Almost like fiddleheads. Let's do a couple of those here too. I think that adds a little something to it. And again, wouldn't that be just almost a nightmare to try to comb that out? It would be a bit much. Let's put a little curl there. Put one inside here. One going this way. You know, I don't even believe that these things were in my household. I don't think my little sister had anything to do with My Little Pony. I'll have to ask, I guess. Uh-huh. Last thing here, let's see about some, what is this, gray? No, let's not go with gray. Looking for a different kind of purple, I think. This might do it. maybe not exactly like the ponies. But for just getting the idea, I think it almost makes sense. And again, just another little bit of tracing out of the hair, doing the outline, which is probably a better phrase because I don't trace. But that's kind of what I'm doing here. Suppose the negative part of tracing has to do with tracing someone else's work and calling it your own. And I think for people that work in the comic book industry, people like to call the ones who ink the penciling work tracers, and I don't think that's fair. I think you can add a lot to someone's rough idea. But the concept of tracing I don't really like very much. All right, well, I don't think I need to go much further than this. An under 40-minute type thing. Just keep adding hair to this creature. Poor thing. Hair like waves. Well, I think that'll be it for now. And then maybe, yeah, we'll doodle something a little bit different than that, using these as again, references or what have you. So, all right, that is it then for now. Thanks for hanging out for a minute or so, and hopefully we'll see you again at some point in the near future. Ciao for now.